Welcome to the Nevis Newscast. Today is Monday, 12th June 2017. I'm Fredicia Liebert. The Cedar View housing project is currently in the construction phase, where just over 10 houses are being constructed by the Nevis Housing and Lands Development Corporation. Minister of Housing and Lands and Cooperatives in the Nevis Island Administration is the Honorable Alexis Jeffers.
We have had persons who have come and have met the requirements, and as such we are here building what I believe currently our 10th or 11th house here at this project, along with other houses in Cahoon, also in Churchground area and other areas here on Nevis. Now I want to say at this point in time that there is still an opportunity for persons to apply to secure a home. I believe there is still some spots available here at Cedar View, and also I believe there are a couple of spots available in Cherry Garden. But of course the good folks at the Nevis Housing and Land Development Corporation will provide further information once the inquiry is made.
Minister Jeffers implored young persons on the island to take advantage of the opportunity of owning their own home.
I am encouraging our young men and young women to aspire to own a home and to put yourself in a position so that you can meet the requirements to own a home. It is always a joy to own your own piece of the rock or your own home, if I can put it that way. But I certainly want to thank the Social Security Board for assisting us at this time. We only got $10 million last time, but we're hoping that next time we're able to come back for an increased amount, perhaps 15 million, perhaps 20 million, because we are going to prove to the Social Security Board and the people of Nevis that we can be good stewards of the people's money. And that's what we're trying to do here with all of this construction.
Minister Jeffers was on the site of the newest housing project on the island in Maddens, and he was accompanied by members of the Nevis Housing and Lands Development Corporation, as well as a representative of the St. Christopher and Nevis Social Security Board. The opening ceremony of the 2017 edition of the Prospective Teachers Training Course took place today at the Department of Education in Pennis. Investing in quality education, empowering the nation is the theme for the 2-week training course, and Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Education, Kevin Barrett, urged the participants to take the profession seriously.
You would be put in a position where you would be determining every profession and vocation that your students would eventually choose. Professions and vocations that we would hope would help to build our nation. Therefore, the knowledge and skills that you will instill in these students is absolutely critical at this stage. It means then that you have a tremendous responsibility on your hand, and I implore you to take that responsibility seriously.
Premier of Nevis and Minister of Education was also present at the opening ceremony and gave words of encouragement to the participants.
Find your style and utilize it to the best of your ability. And that way you can be successful in delivering quality education. I wish you well during this next 2 weeks, but I also wish you well when you become a teacher, employed, and I hope we can employ all of you. I don't know what Ms. Taylor and Mr. Barrett will do. They will have to look at the roster and see what is there. But I think you have a wonderful future if you just follow the principles and practices. You can become a master teacher, each one of you.
The course began today and will conclude in 2 weeks with a closing ceremony, which will be followed with an induction course. Education officer responsible for adult and continuing education, Adina Taylor, was the chairperson for the brief opening ceremony. The Governor General, His Excellency Sir Tapley Seaton, will be hosting an investiture ceremony at Government House on St. Kitts for 8 exceptional nationals of St. Kitts and Nevis on Wednesday, June 14th, 2017 at 10 a.m. During this auspicious ceremony, the Governor General will confer awards to the selected 8 for their contribution to the development of the Federation. The Companion Star of Merit CSM will be conferred on Lady Huldah Lawrence for her contribution to the field of music. 5 persons will be awarded the Medal of Honor MH, Mrs. Sylvia Isaac for her contribution to nursing, Miss Clarice Cotton for her contribution to education and Special Olympics, Mrs. Vanta E. Walters for her contribution to early childhood development, Mrs. Dahlia John for her contribution to the public service in education, and Mr. Maurice Widdowson for his contribution to tourism. Mr. Elkemido Willett and Miss Vanta Archibald will both be bestowed with the Member of the Most Excellent Order of the British Empire, MBE, for the 2017 New Year's Honour List, Mr. Willett for his contribution to sports and international cricket, and Miss Archibald for her contribution to education, including library services and community activity. Still to come, Public Accounts Committee Bill, one of 7 bills to be read at the sitting of the National Assembly on Tuesday. The details when we return.
As a responsible taxpayer, you help to finance free healthcare at all health centers on Nevis. Thank you for putting country above self. This message was brought to you by the Inland Revenue Department, Nevis. Be a responsible citizen.
Welcome back. The order paper has been circulated for a sitting of the National Assembly to be held at the National Assembly Chambers Government Headquarters, Bastille, on Tuesday, 13th June 2017, beginning at 10 a.m. Several bills will come before the House, some for their first reading and others for their second reading. Prime Minister and Minister of Finance, the Honourable Dr. Timothy Harris, will seek leave to introduce and have read a first-time Public Accounts Committee Bill and St. Christopher and Nevis Citizenship CBI Escrow Accounts Bill. Also, the Honourable Prime Minister will move the second reading Firearms Amendment Bill, which had its first reading on 23rd May 2017. The Honourable Attorney General and Minister of Justice, Legal Affairs and Communications, Vincent Byron, will seek leave to introduce and have read a first time Title by Registration Amendment Bill and Registration and Records Amendment Bill. In addition, the Honourable Attorney General and Minister responsible for Justice and Legal Affairs will seek leave to introduce and have read a second time Bail Amendment Bill, which had its first reading on 23rd May 2017. The Honourable Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Education, Youth, Sports and Culture, Sean K. Richards, will seek leave to introduce and have read a second time Accreditation Bill, which had its first reading on 23rd May 2017. The National Assembly will be carried live on ZIZ Radio and participating radio stations. It can also be viewed live on TV Channel 8 in Nevis. It will be streamed live at www.zizonline.com. Late last week, members of the West India Regiment came to St. Kitts and Nevis and toured various historical sites on the islands. As they visited the Alexander Hamilton Museum grounds, a team from the Department of Information caught up with them, and leader of the group, Lieutenant Colonel Wendell Salandi, spoke about the regiment.
We had approximately 24 guys that joined from St. Kitts and Nevis, the West India Regiment, between the period of 1959 and 1961. We have with us on this trip one of them. His name is Frank Huggins. I think he was born in Nevis, if I didn't mistake too. And he's also retired, and he's now a pharmacist in the United States, Brooklyn. I also want to mention here, which is very important, that the West India Regiment served troops from the West India Regiment from the 4th and the 2nd Battalion West India Regiment served in St. Kitts at Brimstone Hill in the late 1790s and in 1851.
Lieutenant Colonel Salandi, who was leading the group, also spoke about the importance of the West India Regiment.
The role of the West India Regiment was really to secure all the Caribbean and the West Indies in case of anything, right? That was the main role, to secure the borders and all the islands of the West Indies from any invasion and so on. That was the main role. But then, for instance, any disaster, things like that, the regiment would have been there to assist and all that type of thing. So it was an important thing.
The group traveled to St. Kitts last weekend and attended a cocktail hosted by Prime Minister Dr. the Honorable Timothy Harris at the Ocean Terrace Inn. The West India Regiment's WIR were infantry units of the British Army recruited from and normally stationed in the British colonies of the Caribbean between 1795 and 1927. In 1888, the two West India regiments then in existence were reduced to a single unit of 2 battalions. That's it for this edition of the Nevis Newscast. On behalf of all of us here at the Department of Information, I'm Fredicia Liebert. Thank you for viewing.
Close your eyes. Imagine a green, majestic mountain forever shaded by a snow-white cloud. And listen to the sound of waves gently lapping at your feet, kissed by the winds of the Caribbean Sea. Breathe in the abundant fresh air of this glorious land. Open your eyes. And welcome to my wonderful paradise, my island, Nevis. Hi, I am 21-year-old Claytecia Daniel, and I will be representing the island of Nevis in this year's Miss Caribbean Culture Queen Pageant. Known as Owali, land of beautiful waters by its native inhabitants, and later nicknamed Queen of the Caribbean by British settlers for its wealth-creating powers, Nevis has long relied on its natural prowess and resources to create livelihoods for its people, be it the plantation owners from days of old who drew wealth from the very ground, the fishermen who reaped their bounty from the lovely blue Atlantic Ocean or the Caribbean Sea, those who would bottle the island's natural fresh spring waters, those who promote the healing powers of the volcanic hot springs, or the minds who would harness and channel the island's geothermal energy. The people of Nevis have long remained connected to the gifts nature has bestowed. As an ambassador of this majestic island that spans 36 miles across the Caribbean Sea, it is my duty to encourage my people to nurture, preserve, and protect what makes us unique as a people and strong as a country. It is imperative that we care for our surroundings and adopt environmentally friendly practices to safeguard the beauty of our priceless assets and the future of our developing country. Join me along with the other beautiful contestants on August 5th and 7th in my beautiful paradise, Nevis, as we vie for the crown in this year's Miss Caribbean Culture Queen Pageant. See you there.